Good evening. We're live from Warsaw here at the 2025 Chopin Piano Competition. Of course, it's been the exciting finals. We are on the last day, the final day of the competition. Ben, can you believe it?
No, I think it flew by. Either that or it felt like an eternity. I'm not sure which one.
I think it's both. But
both
anyway,
at once, yeah.
Yes. So we are your hosts, Rachel Naomi KUDO
and Ben Lottie.
And tonight we're very excited to be joined by two eminent Polish pianists, quite young enough that you were both participants in recent editions, Krzysztof Książek and Paweł Wakarecy. Hello, thank you for being with us. So we know that you are both accomplished prize winners in competitions. You are both on the stage here at the Philharmonic and of course have done very well. But now you have made that transition into becoming professors. You teach in Kraków and Bydgoszcz.
That's right.
4 years, 10 years, but as an educator, you've seen your role evolving, I guess. And you have students, and now also you have some experience judging these competitions. So I think it's quite a transition. Do you think competitions are still relevant? What do you find in its significance? Do you recommend them to your students?
Yes, always. I think the competitions are a great way to develop, to start a career or to improve the career, but also to find your way in music and to be conscious what one like or dislike, yeah? And how does it go with the public, and to be open to the future, what the competition can bring.
Paweł, how do you feel?
Well, I feel sometimes some kind of a relief that I don't have to participate in such a competition, because it's something huge in young people's lives, you know, something that stays for the entire life sometimes, and it's a tough subject, I must say. Should we like recommend competition? I mean, I rather tend to still stay on the ground of music, always. And perhaps if we feel that we are confident with our musical ideas, then we could perhaps think about the stage to share with people. And nowadays, the competition stage gives that opportunity.
So Paweł, you weren't as nervous listening to your own student in this competition? I know that you taught Jan Widlarz, right?
Well, I can't say that I was like nervous or stressed.
Not the way you are when you have to perform, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. It's something completely different. I know that there are teachers that just leave the room or can't...
They can't listen.
Yeah. Well, I pretty much don't care. I mean, that way that I'm not involved emotionally myself, you know. It's beyond my control, you know. So I tend to not, you know, be stressed about such a thing. So,
Krzysztof, you had a student, I think, make the second.
The semifinal.
The third stage, that's right. Yehuda Prokopowicz, that's right.
So for me that was completely different. I mean, for me it's much more stressful than playing actually, because I cannot do anything. Yeah. So I cannot help. I'm not actually. I don't know what's going on. Yeah. If that's just a thing that is in his mind and it goes away, or is it a problem? So for me, listening to my own student, that was way more difficult than playing.
And were you in the hall for that?
Yes.
What have you found the biggest, maybe surprising thing, you know, being a juror? You mentioned, Paweł, that you were on the committee that reviewed the 642 applications. You were also a juror for the Polish national competition just held in February, and also you'll be a juror in Bydgoszcz coming November at the Paderewski competition. So,
well, I must say that this change quite it's a dramatical change of coming from the stage to this, you know, chair of the jury member. And suddenly you switch these spaces, and then you have to stay sometimes even more focused than while performing, because some other people's lives sometimes depends on you. So that's a very difficult and exhaustive, actually, job to stay and to try be fair and as objective as possible for everyone throughout the day, despite your own, humors or something like this, or hunger, because we tend to run into many biases trying to evaluate the performance.
You listened to 642?
No,
Oh, good. That's
but
good.
half of it.
You listened to 321.
Yeah.
I hope not all in one day. I mean, that would be
No, it was like
impossible.
some 3 weeks space. of
Still, I mean, how do
yeah.
you maintain any kind of criteria? I feel like my goalposts would always be moving.
And I have a question just out of curiosity, because you mentioned biases.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I've done a little bit of jury work myself, and I wonder if that's something that crosses jurors' minds, because it's quite like a self-reflecting process, because you start to ask yourself, why give this person a certain score and this person a lower or higher score, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we start to kind of
That's very difficult. In some way, we have to stay really open for something completely new, because everyone has some own interpretation, own version of Chopin, and we don't want to value someone's version in relationship to our own. We want to hear the new language, maybe sophisticated, interesting, and something exciting, maybe about someone's personality.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that participants should have access to jurors' feedback, or perhaps their criticism?
It is very important topic, I think, because not many participants of the competition has so much self-confidence to really ask a juror for the opinion.
I see.
It's about that, because very rarely competition says, if anyone wants some feedback, please contact secretary or jurors themselves. I think it would be very good for the competitors.
So if it were your students, for example, participating in a competition, you could encourage them to.
Yes,
ask
definitely.
for it.
Yeah, because very important. Because that's not nothing special that we differ in the way how we score and how we see the music, how we interpret it.
Krzysztof, you mentioned that you think it's important also, not just for the experience, but for the feedback.
Yes.
Is that something that you take into consideration?
Yes, what the jury member can tell us about us, and especially the jury member that we don't really know, that we've met maybe for the first time. Usually the feedback is fresh and something that we don't know about ourselves. So I think that's one of the most important things in the competition. Also to get to know not only the downs but also the ups. Yeah, what's good about us.
Yes. And also the audience, that's important for you.
Yes, I mean, eventually we play for the audience, right? It's always, I mean, we always play for people, and otherwise our job wouldn't have much sense.
Do you think that there are any misconceptions about competition juries? For example, you mentioned that there's most of the juries you've been on, there's no discussion. Is that
Yes, because
because I think some people have this image
now
that
organizers
they're fighting.
tend to be as fair as possible, and that's why the systems relies mostly on the pure scoring, only scores, no discussions.
Special
Because,
prizes have some conversation, but that's it.
Because whenever discussion really happen, the difficult tensions may arise, between jurors. I mean, if someone really is not self-confident and not very confident about their opinion, is very prone to, being manipulated or by others, maybe bigger figures' opinions,
I suppose on the other hand, leaving it to the abstract math of the thing can be quite alienating too.
I mean,
one might miss the conversation
behind
with
those numbers. There are sometimes like pages of the notes made by jurors. Those are not empty numbers. These are qualified opinions mostly.
Yeah, as averages, I think things get, you know, it's hard to know exactly what the final decisions, whose opinions is that expressing exactly, just because averages are interesting.
Yeah, of course.
Could you clarify, because I'm sure you had to also face this when you judged the video round, but you can't vote for your own students, of course, and maybe that should be clarified. There's speculation about it, I'm sure, in the chat as well. Could you just talk about the jury regulations, both what's going on tonight and also what went on in the first?
I mean, there is a strict definition of a student in the jury regulations. It's available on web page. Very strict definition who is the student. So every juror has to declare whether he has some students, and at the other hand, of course, students has to declare who's the student, and then there is no voting for the student. Of course, there are a lot of controversies behind this idea, because more and more competitions actually decide to ban the students of the jury members, you know, and well, maybe that is one of possible solutions. However, I don't think it is applicable to Chopin competition, because, you know, we have conflict of interests. From one hand, the young pianist whose dream is to be in the Chopin competition wants to be taught by the greatest, you know, greatest teachers from this business, let's say. From the other hand, the organizers want the best figures on the jury, for example, best Chopinists and best pianists, best pedagogues, and now we have problem with some probable ban for the students.
What are your thoughts, Krzysztof?
Well, I don't think that banning is getting us anywhere, because it's not really. I mean, we are not living on a desert, right? We cannot make no one knows anyone else from the. I mean, the jury. There are always connections between the jury and the participants, no matter if those are the students or not really. Yeah, and even if this is not my student, this can be student of my friend, I mean, it's really small world, even. Yeah. So I don't think it would really benefit. I mean, I believe that every jury member needs to try to be objective, as much as she or he can, and to be good with himself, or fine.
And what are your thoughts then about transparency? I think this competition in particular, since its decision to publish some of the jury scores, has gotten, you know, of course positive, but perhaps also, you know, is that really necessary, et cetera, this kind of discussion. What are your thoughts, if we can ask?
Well, I think it's became like a standard now to you know, publish the scores, and every juror knows it before the competition, knows that he's responsible for the scores, and that's totally fine, and it should be done, I think, even quickly, just after the competition, just to be as transparent as possible, and as without waiting, you know, long after the competition even.
Do you think that transparency can actually influence how a jury decides to vote certain students? Because now everyone will know what they think of that student, or not that the alternative is perfect. I mean, no transparency can lead to questions and secrecy. So, but that is I imagine a factor psychologically. Everyone knows what I'm about to give this person, and I wonder what the teacher will think. I wonder what the student might think. Because, as you said, Krzysztof, there's so many connections. It's a small world. Everyone kind of knows each other, right?
Yeah, but on the other hand, I wouldn't like to vote for my students, because I know I'm so biased, and usually I drop the scores very low. Yeah.
Yeah, so you work against the sort of bias.
Yeah, because I have high expectations.
So your student is very grateful that you're not voting for him. Any thoughts on that topic? Are you aspiring to be a juror yourself in the Chopin competition one day?
Well, that would be wonderful, sure. Yeah, but I'm always amazed by the objectivity, because we are looking for the objectivity in an art, right? And there is no objective thing in an art. I mean, there is very little we can really say objectively, and it's about what we value more. Yeah. So for one jury member, I don't know, she can love more the sound. Mm-hmm. The other will love the structure more. And then how we can balance it? I mean, it's impossible.
Everyone has its own balance between those factors.
And values.
Yeah, and some jurors even have some fetishes around some special places in Chopin that they wait for this place. I don't know, coda from ballet G minor when we have the pedaling thing in the waits for this and values.
It's all they're listening for is that. If they give them that, they're like, okay,
nailed it.
24, 25.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, you experienced this yourself, just this question about values. How much, well, this isn't a question for you, but also to deflect to them as well. When you've judged, for example, in Miami, I imagine it's the jury is going through their own self-identity, questioning and reflection on your own values throughout. So you have to ask that constantly. What is it that I care about, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think, after you're sitting, of course, Ben, too, listening to somebody play for 45 minutes, 1 hour. I mean, that's a lot of time that you're sharing with them, and a lot of insight you're gaining into, how they think, I think, as a musician. And there's, being a pianist, there's so much to think about.
So what do you value? What are your fetishes when you listen?
I think the sound.
Sound production.
Always is the sound. I can really, everything else is not as important for me as the quality of sound and how it can sing, how it fills the whole. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because without sound there is no music.
Yeah. And I might add that I think that's one thing, perhaps when you're in a hall, in a live hall, there's always a different element than listening on the stream. But I love how the sound can really sometimes, connect to you and touch you.
Even touch you physically.
Yeah, exactly. Some people have that magic. What about you, Paweł?
Well, I like to hear through sound excitement. Some really personal, deep commitment on the stage of pianists. It's not like I prepared a program tip-top and now I'm just performing it, but really to be fully focused on the some characteristics that cannot be done through practice, but it's something about the how we pronounce ourselves on the stage.
Like an emotional investment?
Yeah, I think so. It's something like this. And just pure sheer excitement about the fact that you're performing on the stage of Philharmonic Hall.
Of course. So I think the balance between excitement and nerves.
Yeah, and also we can get a real sense of the energy of the performer, and actually details sometimes matter less than just what overall effect are we getting? Are they playing with love? Are they playing? And then these bigger concepts can prevail, I think, sometimes.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Krzysztof and Paweł, for spending your time with us, and we're very grateful that it's the final performance.
We're almost there.
We're
all tired.
No, not meaning that, but it's been so exciting. But it's something we're looking forward to, of course, the results tonight. So thank you so much for sharing your insights.
It was great to be here.
Yes, and please enjoy the last performance of the 2025 Chopin Piano Competition.